Mark chapter 8, verse 14. Now the disciples had forgotten to take bread, neither had they in the boat with them more than one loaf. And he charged them and said, Take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have no bread. And when Jesus knew it, he said to them, Why are you reasoning this way, because you have no bread? Don't you understand? Don't you perceive? Have you hardened your heart? Having eyes you see not, and having ears you hear not? And do you not remember? When I broke the 5 loaves among the 5,000, how many basketfuls of fragments did you take up? They said to him, 12. And when the 7 among the 4,000, how many basketfuls of fragments did you take up? And he said, 7. And he said unto them, How is it that you do not understand? And he come to Bethsaida, and they brought him a blind man unto him, and they besought him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw anything. He looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. After that he put his hands upon his eyes again, and made him look up. And he was restored, and saw every man clearly. And he sent him away to his house, saying, Neither go into the town, nor tell it to anyone in the town. And Jesus went out and with his disciples into the towns of Caesarea Philippi. And by the way, he asked his disciples, saying to them, Who do men say that I am? And they answered, John the Baptist, but some say Elijah, and others one of the prophets. And he said to them, But whom do you say that I am? And Peter answered and said, You are the Christ. And he told them that they should not tell any man of him. And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and of the chief priests and of the scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. And he spoke that saying openly, and Peter took him and began to rebuke him. But when he had turned about and looked on his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying, Get behind me, Satan, for you're not interested in the things that be of God, but the things that be of men. And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, Whoever will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. Mark chapter 9. And he said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that there be some of them that stand here, which shall not taste death till they have seen the kingdom of God come with power. And after 6 days Jesus took with him Peter and James and John, and led them up into a high mountain apart by themselves, and he was transfigured before them. And his raiment became shining, exceedingly white as snow, so as no fuller on earth could wipe them. And there appeared unto them Elijah with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. And Peter answered and said to him, Master, it's good for us to be here. Let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. For they didn't know what to say, for they were very much afraid. And there was a cloud that overshadowed them, and a voice came out of the cloud, saying, This is my beloved Son, hear him. And suddenly, when they had looked round about, they saw no man any more, except Jesus, only with themselves. And as they came down from the mountain, he charged them that they should tell no man what things they had seen, till the Son of Man were risen from the dead. And they kept that saying with themselves, questioning with one another what the rising of the dead should mean. And they asked him, saying, Why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? And he answered and told them, Elijah verily came first and restored all things. And how is it written that of the Son of Man that he must suffer many things and be set at naught? But I say unto you that Elijah is indeed come, and they have done unto him whatever they wanted, as it is written of him. And when he came to his disciples, he saw a great multitude about them, and the scribes questioning them. And right away all the people, when they beheld him, were greatly amazed, and running to him, greeted him. And he asked the scribes, What are you questioning them about? And one of the multitudes answered and said, Master, I have brought unto you my son, which has a dumb spirit. And wherever he takes him, he tears him, and he foams and gnashes with his teeth, and pines away. And I spoke to your disciples that they should cast him out, and they could not. And he answered him and said, O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him unto me. And they brought him unto him, and when he saw him, right away the spirit tore him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed foaming. And he asked his father, How long ago was it that this happened to him and came upon him? And he said, Well, since a child. And oftentimes it has cast him into the fire and into the waters to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. Jesus said unto him, If you can believe, all things are possible to him that believes. And right away the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. And when Jesus saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, You deaf and dumb spirit, I charge you to come out of him and enter no more into him. And the spirit cried and rent him sore, and he came out of him, and he was as one dead, insomuch that the people said, He is dead. But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he was come into the house, his disciples asked him privately, Why could we not cast him out? And he said unto them, This kind can come forth by nothing but by prayer and fasting. And they departed from there and passed through Galilee, and he would not that any man should know about it. For he taught his disciples and said unto them, The Son of Man is delivered into the hands of men, and they shall kill him. And after that he is killed, he shall rise the third day. And they understood not that saying, and were afraid to ask him. And he came to Capernaum, and being in the house, he asked them, what was it that you disputed among yourselves by the way? And they held their peace for along the way they had disputed among themselves who would be the greatest. And he sat down and called the 12 and said to them, if any man desire to be first, the same shall be last of all and the servant of all. And he took a child and set him in the midst of them, and when he had taken him in his arms, he said unto them, whosoever shall receive one of such children in my name receives me, and whosoever shall receive me receives not me, but him that sent me. And John answered him, saying, Master, we saw one casting out devils in your name, and he followed not us, and we forbade him, because he followed not us. But Jesus said, forbid him not, for there is no man which shall do a miracle in my name, that can speak evil of me, that can lightly speak evil of me. For he that is not against us is on our part. For whosoever shall give you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you belong to Christ, truly I say unto you, he shall not lose his reward. And whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he were cast into the sea. And if your right hand offend you, cut it off, for it is better for you to enter life maimed, than having two hands and go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched, where their worm dies not, and the fire is not quenched. And if your foot offend you, cut it off. It is better for you to enter halt into life, and having 2 feet to be cast into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched, where their worm dies not, and the fire is not quenched. And if your eye offend you, pluck it out, for it is better for you to enter into the kingdom of God with one eye, than having 2 eyes, and be cast into hell fire, where their worm dies not, and the fire is not quenched. For every one shall be salted with fire, and every sacrifice shall be salted with salt. Salt is good, but if the salt hath lost its saltiness, wherewith shall you season it? Have salt in yourselves, and have peace with one another. Mark chapter 10. And he arose from there and came into the coast of Judea, by the far side of the Jordan, and the people resorted unto him again, and as it was his custom, he taught them again. And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife, tempting him? And he answered and said unto them, what did Moses command you? And they said, Moses allowed us to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away. And Jesus answered and said unto them, for the hardness of your heart he wrote you this precept. But from the beginning of creation God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and cleave to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. So then they are no more two, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. And in the house his disciples asked him again of the same thing. And he said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another commits adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she commits adultery. Okay, beginning at Mark 10:13.